Hello YouTube. I've been experimenting with a bit of artificial life, or probably more accurately, cellular automata. In this particular one, right? This particular one is The Game of Life by John Horton Conway. Um, I've got a few pieces of these patterns called gliders, and they're just evolving all over the board. So let me stop this and restart the game and quickly go over what this thing is about. All right, so you can go to this web address and pull up the game. It only runs on Windows and OS X. Um, as you can see before, right, the game runs on the grid, and the rules, right, is like for each cell, right, each cell on the grid, right, it will look at the neighbors around it, and the neighbors are the 8 cells, directly adjacent to it, right? So the rules, right, is like cells with less than 2 neighbors will die. So these cells here only have like 1 neighbor each, so they're dead. And cells with exactly 3 neighbors, 3 live neighbors, will live on. So this particular setup here, right, is actually called a block. So let's say on this wiki, right, we've got like a whole bunch of starting patterns, and the block is one of them that doesn't like change over time unless obviously something comes here or something. So and the next rule, right, is like live cells with more than 3 neighbors will die. So this cell has 3 neighbors, and it will die. Actually, maybe not, but you know what, dead cells with exactly 3 neighbors come alive. So 3 neighbors come alive. Okay, so let's go next page. This graphic is wrong, but it's late. All right, so the board, right, say I'm creating this so-called pattern called a blinker, and you need to stop it before you can update the board. And the block here, and you can create this thing called the glider. So again, right click will delete unwanted alive cells, and left click puts down a live cell. So this is the glider evolving. Now what's interesting, right, what's not interesting, what I'm interested, right, is like looking at these evolving patterns on the screen, right. I'm curious actually what they sound like. And so what I did, right, was I built this grid, right, 20 by 20 for a reason, for 5, right, so 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. All right, so you can see, right, there's a 5 5 5, maybe one more, something like that. So 5 5 5 5, right, and here 5, another 20 across. The reason for this, right, is I'm actually using the pentatonic scale. Now, probably if you've probably attended some like music lessons when you were young, right, you got like do re mi fa sol la ti do. That's it. That's the diatonic scale. So diatonic scale has 7 notes. Unfortunately, right, diatonic scale, right, you can't just randomly play. They won't always sound good. The pentatonic scale, on the other hand, right, is only 5 notes, and these 5 notes, right, are chosen so that they will sound good no matter how you play them, right. So this is why I chose a grid of 20, so I can split them up into 4 groups of basically, right, I take the C major pentatonic, so do re mi sol la, do re mi sol la, all of them will be playing do re mi sol la all here, but this I'm actually using a piano sample, right? So I've only got a mid-range piano sample, and then in Unity, right, I basically changed the pitch. So this is the original sample here. Then I've increased the speed twice, the pitch basically. So 1 octave up. Then this one is like half the pitch, and this is half the pitch of this. So I basically use 1 sample set to get sort of a 4 octave range, sort of. Yep. And then there's major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. Big deal. All right. So there's a quick clear icon here and random if you just want to randomly start stuff. Alright, quick, clear. Let's say we want to hear what an oscillator sounds like. So put 3 across, major pentatonic. So that's what it sounds like here. And if you put another oscillator here, right, so maybe if you put another one here, and you can see they're already making some sort of pattern. So what happens, I'm just curious, like what does a glider sound like? So I'm going to put in a glider, and let's try major pentatonic. Alright, so let's add in, say, a beacon here. And maybe we can add a few more gliders in. Maybe one here, another one here, and let's... So yeah, I'm really curious about what stuff like that sounds like. So yeah, so this is just a quick overview of what I can see the gliders colliding into the beacon and further evolving. And this one has come into a static position. This is called a loaf. So this guy here has evolved into a loaf, and the other 2 gliders are still gliding around. Alright, so I'm just gonna call it a night, and just FYI, have fun!